They smashed open the creaking apartment door. A Hello Kitty doll lay on the hallway floor, reeking of death's foul stench. They tore it open and unleashed a dread you could never imagine. Hi everyone, I'm Yang. Today we're going to talk about one of Hong Kong's top 10 mysteries, the Hello Kitty murder case. This story was known to every single soul in Hong Kong. Even after 20 plus years, it still haunted people's dreams. Stay with me, and this one is a wild ride. In the spring of 1999, a sharp, unbearable stench started wafting through an apartment building, coming straight from room 3B on the 3rd floor in Tsim Sha Tsui, Hong Kong. As summer edged closer, the temperature climbed, and that smell just kept getting worse. The neighbors reached their breaking point. They banged on the door, called out, desperate to know what was going on inside. But no matter how hard they knocked or shouted, there was nothing. No sound, no response. Left with no choice, they called the police. On May 26, 1999, Hong Kong police arrived and forced open the door to 3B. The moment it swung wide, a thick wave of that foul odor slammed into them. There, lying on the hallway floor, was a Hello Kitty mermaid doll. An officer prodded it with a metal rod. Something felt off, hard inside. Then, a dark, decayed mess seeped out, and tiny critters spilled across the floor, scurrying everywhere. They cut open the doll's head and uncovered a sight so haunting, they wished they could erase it from memory. So, what made it so infamous? What happened in room 3B, and what was stashed inside that Hello Kitty doll? It all started with a 13-year-old girl named Fang. She was an orphan growing up in welfare homes. One day, she was talking to a social worker and mentioned she'd been having the same chilling nightmare over and over. In it, a woman screamed at her, "Give me back my head!" The worker was rattled. How did a kid that young dream something so dark? Something awful must have happened to her. They pushed for answers, and Fang, shaking, shared a story so unbelievable it was hard to fathom she lived it. Where did it unfold? Right there, in room 3B. She said a few months earlier, her boyfriend took her to 3B to spend the night. As soon as she stepped inside, she spotted a woman looked up, young, beautiful, but shattered, like she'd endured unspeakable torment and could barely talk. Besides her, there were 3 men, her boyfriend and his 2 pets. Right in front of Fang, they started harassing this woman, roughed her up, no mercy. Fang was petrified, thinking she was next, but instead they pulled her in, forced her to join them. She was too scared to refuse. So, who was this poor woman? What tied her to those 3 men? Her name was Fan Man-yi, 23 years old, working in a rough part of the nightlife world. Born in 1976, she had a tough life from the start. Dad missing, mom remarried, raised by her elderly grandma in poverty. Grandma struggled to keep her fed and clothed. Raising a kid alone was no easy feat. Still, Fan was a good girl, quiet, well-mannered, decent grades. As she grew up and hit working age, she stepped into the real world. Girls from backgrounds like hers often veered off track, and Fan was no exception. She landed a job as a hostess in a nightclub, a place where staying out of trouble was nearly impossible. Before long, she got hooked on substances and met a key figure, Chen Man Lok. Back then, Hong Kong was a mess. Gangs popped up everywhere. Chen, 33, was part of that scene, a low-level crook. These guys weren't exactly running honest businesses. They trafficked illegal goods and controlled women for profit, among other things. Chen was deep in it all, raking in cash. Fan started buying his product, and that's how they got close. Then, in 1997, Fan's grandma fell seriously ill, needing a big chunk of money for treatment. Fan was heartbroken but flat broke. She could barely keep herself afloat. So, she took a wild risk. She stole from Chen 4,000 Hong Kong dollars plus a phone and watch, about 8 grand total. Bad move. You didn't steal from a guy like that. Chen was sharp. He knew it was her. He sent his boys, Liang Xinxiu and Liang Wailun, to hunt her down. Fans scrambled, managed to scrape together 4 grand to pay back. But the rest, Chen inflated it, phones, watches, plus crazy interest, 30 grand total. She was sunk. Couldn't pay? Then you owed him your life. She was stuck, forced to work for him, squeezed dry for 2 years. 2 years of misery, and she'd only cleared 14 grand. Chen kept jacking up the interest. The debt grew, hope faded. She started refusing jobs, dodging calls, trying to break free. That's when Chen lost it. On March 17, 1999, his crew grabbed her and locked her in 3B. She never made it out alive. Chen, Liang Xinxiu, and Liang Wailun sealed the windows of 3B with wooden boards. Then they turned on Fan, brutal, relentless, demanded why she stopped paying, why she ran. She pleaded for mercy, but they had none to give. It dragged on for months. She slipped, barely conscious at times. One day, she died. After her murder, they started covering their tracks. They dumped most of her body like garbage, hauled off to landfills, impossible to trace. One day, while they were handling the body, police showed up next door for something unrelated. They panicked and threw a bag of body parts out the window. Cops later found it on the awning below. But her head, they stuffed it into their Hello Kitty doll and sewed it shut. From the outside, it looked normal. It sat there for months, rotting away as the heat climbed until the stench tipped off the neighbors. Afang, the 13-year-old, was Liang Xinxiu's girlfriend. He was 26. She was a homeless orphan with nowhere to crash. He brought her to 3B and she witnessed nearly everything. It left her shaken, scared. She didn't ask for this, but she was dragged in. Thankfully, she stepped up, reported it, and became the case's star witness. Police snagged Chen hiding at a buddy's place. Liang Xinxiu caught wind and turned himself in. Liang Wailun boated to Guangxi in mainland China, but a year later, local cops nabbed him during a random stop. No ID, no luck. They realized he was wanted and handed him over to Hong Kong. All 3 were caught. Trial time rolled around and it was a mess. They blamed each other, swore they didn't take her life. The Hello Kitty doll got hauled into court, smell included. In the end, all 3 got life sentences. But Liang Xinxiu, he cut a deal, landed 18 years, served 14 and walked in 2014. Guess what? He didn't stay clean for long. He got caught messing with a minor. Old habits died hard. The Hello Kitty murder case blew up in Hong Kong, splashed across every front page. Then, the spooky stuff started. Neighbors heard cries at night. Some claimed they'd seen a headless woman in that building. It became a hotel later, and most let it fade. But the unease, it stuck around.